This evening, let's explore the Song of Enlightenment. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi. This is the Lama you are looking for. And this evening we could chant and meditate and enjoy a lesson or two. But first, if you love Star Wars and you wish to meditate as transformatively as Luke Skywalker learned to do on Dagobah under the guidance of Yoda, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. If at any point during this evening's live stream you have actually, I think I have a better idea. Let's try this. If at any time during this evening's live stream you have a question, do not be shy. Let me rephrase that. If you have a question about meditation, philosophy, or even chanting, do not be shy. Simply type your question in the chat window on the right-hand side of your screen. Now, if you're watching a replay, you'll want to type your question in the comment area below the video. Whoops. Okay. So let's tap button 14. Now, full disclosure, I am not a linguist, and I am not fluent in Chinese, so I'm going to have to forego the pronunciation of these Chinese names. I mean, no disrespect to anybody, I just don't know how to pronounce them. So, this was written before the advent of what's his face? The founder of Japanese Soto Zen. Well, that's embarrassing. The Japanese fellow who brought Soto Zen to Japan in the 800s. Wow. Well, his name will come to me later, and I'll share it with you then. Anyway, this was written 2 centuries prior to that, and this really, really speaks to me. Much more than the Zubogenzo Dogen, written by Zen Master Dogen. Okay. So that's not an insult to him. This just speaks to me more powerfully. This and the Shastra written by the 3rd Chan Patriarch also speaks to me deeply. Or perhaps I should say more deeply. There is the leisurely one walking the Tao beyond philosophy, not avoiding fantasy, not seeking truth. So, boom, straight out of the running blocks, without wasting any time. We're taught that those who master the way are not pseudo-intellectual scholars. This will be elaborated more as this text progresses. But we're taught that those who master the way, do so gently, without forcing their mind to focus on things. They are happy for our minds to perceive the five senses. They're happy for mind to turn inward and even daydream. This person is traversing. He's not stuck in being rigid, fearful, controlling, elitist, or competitive. Rather, he's doing the opposite. He or she is being flexible, loving, laid back, egalitarian, and cooperative. The path of peace. The real nature of ignorance is the Buddha nature itself. The empty, delusory body is the very body of the Dharma. So, there are the way things seem and the way they are. As we enthusiastically inhale, we can notice ignorance and we can notice Buddha nature. As we exhale and relax, we find or feel that both confusion and enlightenment are equally non-graspable. They share the same taste. When the Dharma body awakens completely, there is nothing at all. The source of our self-nature is the Buddha of innocent truth. What is innocent truth? It's complete, innocent truth is when our relationship to the truth is described as being vulnerable, passive, visceral, and spontaneous. When we let go of agenda and flow from a place not of scattered spontaneity, but centered spontaneity. Mental and physical reactions come and go like clouds in the empty sky. Greed, hatred, and ignorance appear and disappear like bubbles on the surface of the sea. When we realize actuality, there is no distinction between mind and thing, and the path to hell instantly vanishes. That's really nice, because those folks who are attempting to practice the Buddhist path from a place of rigidity and while indulging their controlling tendencies are often very enthusiastic to threaten people with unfortunate rebirths or hell. And I love how this guy is saying, the practice of the truth frees us from inauspicious rebirth, whether that is literal or figurative. That I should clarify, whether rebirth is literal or figurative. If this is a lie to fool the world, may my tongue be cut out forever. I'm reminded of Shakespeare. I'm going to do my best to quote him. The mind can make a heaven of a hell or a hell out of a heaven. Once we awaken to the Buddha's meditation, the 6 noble deeds and the 10,000 good actions are already complete within us. So we don't need a checklist for giving, nonviolence, patience, zeal, mindfulness, or meditation. As we flow from centered spontaneity, we cannot help but do the right thing. In our dream, we see the 6 levels of illusion clearly. After we awaken, the whole universe is empty. No bad fortune, no good fortune, no loss, no gain, never seeking such things as eternal serenity. there are an infinite number of fools, and I have been one of them, who said, well, you know, I'd be a lot more peaceful if I didn't have to worry about health or rent or food, grocery money. Therefore, I need some gain, then I'll be peaceful. Or someone said to me, oh, I need wealth so I can feed the poor. That's why I must, manifest wealth. But the Buddha said, gotta let go of both hate and craving. One of my many teachers told a tale of a refugee escaping Tibet during the Chinese invasion. And he got lost and wound up in a land whose language he did not speak. He thought he would surely starve to death. So he contented himself to study and contemplate and meditate until the inevitable end. But the inevitable end never came. As he continued just letting go, whatever desires came up, his desires were met. That is not wordplay. People came to him who did speak his language and who did support him and his teachings. And when the teacher of mine who told me this tale met him during his own escape from Tibet, the man explained to him, the Lama explained to him that for those who practice the Buddha's teachings of letting go of both hate and greed, starvation is impossible, which is pretty cool. 4 years a dusty mirror has gone unclean. Now let us polish it completely once and for all. This is a reference to the Shastra or discourse of the 6th Chan patriarch. A very popular monk said we must polish the mirror of Dharma every day. And the 6th patriarch said, the dust is empty, the mirror is empty, me and you are empty. And so this fellow here has seemed to have found the middle ground and said, we're going to polish it once and for all. How do we do that? By sharing the 3 circles of emptiness shared by the 6th Chan patriarch. Who has no thought, who is not born? If we are truly not born, we are not unborn either. Ask a mannequin if this is not so. How can we realize ourselves by virtuous deeds or by seeking the Buddha? Release your hold on earth, water, fire, and wind. Drink and eat as you wish in eternal serenity. Oh, you know what? It looks like I did not organize this well, so let's fix this. Release your hold on earth, water, fire, and re-earth your hold on earth, water, fire, wind. Drink and eat as you wish in eternal serenity. And Zen Master Basho said, when you are hungry, eat. When you are weary, rest. So both these gentlemen are inviting us to let go of asceticism. Oh, excuse me. All things are transient and completely empty. This is the great enlightenment of the Tathagata. Let's make sure that the display is still synchronized. Transience, emptiness, and enlightenment, these are the ultimate truths of Buddhism. Keeping and teaching them is true Sangha devotion. If you do not agree, please ask me about it. So this is a phrase that's going to come up more than once in this discourse. This is a wonderful phrase. This guy isn't crossing his arms and saying it's my way or the highway. He's saying if you don't understand or you don't agree, but you want to understand, I'll help you. And you have to love that type of empathy. Cut out directly the root of it all. This is the very point of the Buddha seal. I can't respond to any concern about leaves and branches. So I'm going to do a quick edit here. So what he's saying is he will not be bogged down with minutia. People do not recognize a wish-fulfilling jewel. Living intimate within the Buddha essence, it operates our sight, hearing, smell, taste, sensation, awareness. And all of these are empty, yet not empty. The rays shining from this perfect wish-fulfilling jewel have the form of no form at all. So the wish-fulfilling jewel is the Indian version of Aladdin's lamp, and it's used as a metaphor of fulfillment. Clarify the 5 eyes and develop the 5 powers. This is not intellectual work, just realize, just know. So the 5 eyes is the mindfulness we experience as we enthusiastically inhale. The 5 powers are the 5 tamings we experience as we relaxingly exhale. It is already hardwired into the autonomic nervous system of every healthy mammal. It is not difficult to see images in the mirror, but who can take hold of the moon in the water? Because it is appearing yet not graspable. This is an allusion to the 2 truths taught by the Buddhist philosopher Nagarjuna. Always working alone, always walking alone. The enlightened one walks the free way of nirvana. Please excuse my yawning. Ooh. With melody that is old and clear in spirit and naturally elegant in style, but with body that is tough and bony, passing unnoticed in the world. Any idiot can be happy when they get whenever they want, whatever they want, whenever they want it, for as long as they want it. But can we be happy in the absence of those things? The happiness that is peaceful and resilient is a true elegance, but not necessarily an appreciated elegance. We know that Shakya's sons and daughters are poor in body, but not in the Tao. That's a synonym for bodhisattvas, men and women who are defined by the loving pursuit of peace. In their poverty, they always wear ragged clothing, but they have the jewel of no price treasured within. They are rich in Dharma realizations. This true love no price can never be used up, though they spread it freely to help people they meet. Some people are stingy with teachings, only sharing those with those who give them money and fawning praise. But that is not the way of the Buddha. Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya, Nirmanakaya, and the four kinds of wisdom are all contained within. The eight kinds. So I should probably explain this. So the mastery of awareness and letting go, the mastery of bliss and letting go, the mastery of love and letting go, and the four kinds of wisdom that can both perceive as well as release circumstances, bodies, relationships, and mind. The eight kinds of emancipation and the 6 universal powers are all impressed on the ground of their mind. The best student goes directly to the ultimate. The others are very learned, but their enthusiasm is unsteady. Remove the dirty garments from your own mind. Why should you show off your outward striving? So it's time to let go of our preconceptions, remembering that the path is the most effective when it is the easiest. Some may slander, some may abuse. They try to set fire to the heavens with a torch, and end by merely tiring themselves out. I hear the scandal as though it were ambrosial truth. Immediately everything melts and I enter the place beyond thought and words. When people are cruel, that cruelty can drive us to practice. The great irony is that practicing is blissful. So the cruelty of cruel people is intended to harm us, but when it drives us to practice, it actually benefits us, to the surprise of both the harmer and the harmee. When I consider the virtue of abusive words, I find the scandalmonger is my good teacher. If we do not become angry at gossip, we have no need for powerful endurance and compassion. To be mature in meditation is to be mature in expression, and the full moon brilliance of meditation and the wisdom of letting go does not stagnate in emptiness. Not only can I take hold of complete enlightenment by myself, but all Buddha bodies, like the sounds of the Ganges, can become awakened in exactly the same way. That is a nod to the ecclesiastical literature of the Mahayana. It's basically saying Buddhism is not supposed to be elitist. It's supposed to be egalitarian. Let us dispense with the idea of secret teachings and empowerments. Buddha, as he lay dying, said, I have taught with an outstretched arm and an open hand, keeping no secrets. The incomparable lion roar of doctrine shatters the brains of the 100 kinds of animals. Even the king of elephants will run away, forgetting his pride. Only the heavenly dragon listens calmly with pure delight. I wandered over rivers and seas, crossing mountains and streams, visiting teachers, asking about the way in personal interviews. Since I recognize the sixth founding teacher at Sochi, I know what is beyond the relativity of birth and death. And we can do the same thing right now. So let's play with this. As we breathe in, let's silently and mentally, as we enthusiastically breathe in, let us silently and mentally recite birth and death. As we relaxingly exhale, let us silently and mentally recite relaxing. Birth and death, relaxing right now. What is beyond the relativity of birth and death? Non-graspability and the freedom it offers us. Walking is meditation, sitting is meditation, speaking or silent, active or quiet, the essence is at peace. Even facing the sword of death, our mind is unmoved. Even drinking poison, our mind is quiet. Our teacher Shakyamuni met Dipankara Buddha, and for many eons he trained as Kshanti the ascetic. Many births, many deaths, I am serene in the cycle, there is no end to it. So, what if cessation was not what the literal folk told us, that there is no more birth? What if cessation is ceasing to reach or recoil from birth or death or anything else? What is the true cessation is a cessation of our constant resistance to the present moment, be it glorious or be it grotesque. Since I abruptly realized the unborn, I have had no reason for joy or sorrow over any honor or disgrace. I have entered the deep mountains of silence and beauty. In a profound valley beneath high cliffs I sit under the old pine trees, which I might add are inedible. So it's very easy to be content in an orchard where you can just eat to your heart's content. But to be content someplace that is inhospitable, that is really doing something. Sitting meditation in my rustic cottage is peaceful, lonely, and truly comfortable. When you truly awaken, you have no formal merit. In the multiplicity of the relative word, you cannot find such freedom. Self-centered merit brings the joy of heaven itself, but it is like shooting an arrow at the sky. When the force is exhausted, it falls to the earth, and then everything goes wrong. So, rather than trying to practice some form of sanctimonious magic, where we generate good energy, and then we dedicate that good energy, let us just simply lovingly flow from centered spontaneity. Why should this be better than the true way of the Absolute, directly penetrating the crown of the Tathagata? Just take hold of the source, never mind the branches. It is like a treasure moon encased in a beautiful enclosed in a beautiful emerald. Now I understand this wish fulfilling jewel, and my gain is the gain of everyone endlessly. So, in an interdependent universe, populated with healthy mammals, replete with mirror neurons, one person's loss is everybody's loss. One person's enlightenment is everybody's enlightenment. And through interdependence, as we benefit from meditation, the world benefits along with us. The moon shines on the river, the wind blows through the pines, whose providence is this long, beautiful evening. The Buddha nature of morality is impressed on the ground of my mind, and my robe is the dew, the fog, the cloud in the midst. I'm very grateful that Karma Chakme Rinpoche taught the essence of morality is simply non-violence, which is in perfect harmony with the Eightfold Path, for 50% of it pertains to loving kindness. Able ones calm dragons and a staff separated, fighting tigers, the rings on the staff jingle musically. The form of these expressions is not to be taken lightly. The compassionate treasure staff of the Buddha has left traces for us to follow. The awakened one does not seek truth, nor does Take two. The awakened one does not seek truth, does not cut off delusion. Truth and delusion are both vacant and without form. But this no form is neither empty nor not empty. It is the truly real form of the Buddha. So let us not seek Buddha in the heavens or the temples, but in the practice of awareness and letting go. The mind mirror is clear, so there are no obstacles. Its brilliance illuminates the universe to the depths in every grain of sand. The universe in every grain of sand is a delightfully poetic way of exploring interdependence, how one affects all and all affects one. Oh, I guess that's kind of reminiscent of the Three Musketeers, huh? Multitudinous things of the cosmos are all reflected in the mind. And this is full of clarity, is beyond inner and outer. So when we notice and release, the outward trappings of duality crumble and become of same taste. Ultimately, not conventionally. What does that mean? It means there's a huge difference conventionally between dog dew and chocolate. Now, but although we can notice the two of them, as we relax into our exhalation, they both metaphorically taste of non-graspability. Please don't eat dog dew. It will not help your breath. To live in nothingness is to ignore cause and effect. This chaos leads only to disaster. The one who clings to vacancy, rejecting the world of things, escapes from drowning but leaps into fire. So what does that mean? Well, we notice as we breathe in, we relax as we breathe out. Just as you need both inhalation and exhalation, you also need to notice and release. Noticing without releasing does not help. Releasing without noticing does not help. Practice both. Flow from centered spontaneity. Holding truth and rejecting delusion, these are but skillful lies. Students who practice seated meditation, with such lies love thievery in their own children. They miss the Dharma treasure, they lose accumulated power, and thus disaster flows directly upon dualistic thinking. So meditation is the complete realization of mind, the complete cutting off of delusion. The power of wise vision penetrating directly to the unborn. Students of vigorous will hold the sword of wisdom. The wisdom edge is a diamond flame. It not only cuts off useless knowledge, but also exterminates delusions. Gathering data is not the same as gathering wisdom. This is illuminated in the 81 chapters of the Tao Te Ching. They roar with Dharma thunder, they strike with Dharma drum. They spread clouds of love and pour ambrosial rain. Their giant footsteps nourish limitless beings. Shravaka, Prateka, Bodhisattva, all are enlightened. 5 kinds of human nature are all emancipated. Let us not fall under the thrall of elitist teachers who say, only my group is enlightened, no one else is. Let us relax into the possibility that there are many teachers and many ways. It does not fall into the prison cell of elitism. High in the Himalayas only fanny grass grows. Here cows produce pure and delicious milk, and this food I will continually enjoy. One complete nature passes to all natures. One universal Dharma encloses all Dharmas. One moon is reflected in many waters. All the water moons are from one moon. My brain is getting tired, so I probably will have to comment less. There is no way to corner the market on wisdom, for wisdom is available to all who are fortunate enough to have a healthy body and brain and are able to use them skillfully in meditation. The Dharma body of all Buddhas has entered my own nature, and my nature becomes one with the Tathagata. One level completely contains all levels. It is not matter, mind, or activity. This is a distillation of the 39th chapter of the Avatamsaka Sutra. In an instant, 80,000 teachings are fulfilled. In a twinkling, the evil of aeons is destroyed. All categories or no category, what relation have these to my insight? Beyond praise, beyond blame, like space itself, it has no bounds. Right here it is, eternally full and serene. If you search elsewhere, you cannot see it. You cannot grasp it, you cannot reject it. In the midst of not gaining, in that condition you gain it. It speaks in silence, what's going on here? Okay. It speaks in silence, and speech you hear its silence. The great way has opened and there are no obstacles. If someone asks what is your sect and how do you understand it, I reply the power of tremendous wisdom. People say it is positive, people say it is negative, but they do not know. A smooth road, a rough road, even heaven cannot imagine. I have continued in my sitting meditation for many aeons. I do not say this to confuse you. I raise the Dharma banner and set forth all teaching. It is the clear doctrine of the Buddha which I found with my teacher Huining. Once again, I apologize for mispronunciations. Mahakashyapa became the Buddha's successor and received the lamp and passed it on. 20 generations of teachers in India. Then overseas in rivers to our land, Bodhidharma came as our own first founder. And his robe, as we all know, passed through 6 teachers here. And how many generations come they may gain the path no one knows. I think I misspoke that. And how many generations to come may gain the path no one knows. The truth is not set forth he... Oh, I forgot a consonant. The truth is not set forth, the false is basically vacant. Put both existence and non-existence aside, then even non-vacancy is vacant. The 20 kinds of vacancies have no basis in the oneness of the enlightened one is naturally sameness. Mind is the base phenomena or dust, yet both are like a flaw in the mirror. When the flaw is brushed aside, the light begins to shine. When both mind and phenomena are forgotten, then we become naturally genuine. It's better to be centered, spontaneous, and authentic than contrived in something you are not. All the degenerate materialistic world people are unhappy, they find self-control difficult. In the century since Shakyamuni, false views all deep. Demons are strong, the Dharma is weak, disturbances are many. The historical Buddha is known as Gautama to our Theravadan friends and Shakyamuni to our Mahayana friends. People hear the Buddha's doctrine of immediacy, and if they act on it, the demons are crushed as easily as a roofing tile. Oops, wrong button. There's the tile, okay. But they do not attract a pity. Your mind is the source of action, your body is the agent of calamity, no pity, no blame to anyone else. If you do not seek an invitation to hell, never slander the Buddha's true teaching. In the sandalwood forest there is no other tree. Only the lion lives in such deep luxuriant woods, wandering freely in a state of peace. Other animals and birds stay far away. Just baby lions follow the parent, and 3-year-olds already roar loudly. How can the jackal pursue the king of the Dharma, even with 100,000 demonic arts? The Buddha's doctrine of directness is not a matter for human emotion. If you doubt this or feel uncertain, then you must discuss it with me. So, we notice the pleasurable, we notice the painful, we notice the interesting, we notice the boring, we notice the glorious, we notice the grotesque. This is not the free reign of a mountain monk's pride. I fear your training may lead to wrong views of permanent soul or complete extinction. Being is not being, non-being is not non-being. Miss this rule by a hair and you are off by 1,000 miles. Simply put, with each enthusiastic inhalation, notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and spontaneously. With each relaxing exhalation, physically relax, mentally release. Understanding it, the dragon child abruptly attains Buddhahood. Misunderstanding it, the greatest scholar falls into hell. From my youth I piled studies upon studies, and sutras and shastras I searched and researched, classifying terms and forms oblivious to fatigue. I entered the sea to count the sands in vain, and then the Tathagata scolded me kindly as I read. What profit in counting your neighbor's treasure? My work had been scattered and entirely useless. For years I was dustburned by the wind. So that was highly figurative. The Buddha, he didn't have a vision of the Buddha who slapped him upside the skull. The Buddha's words, as recorded in scripture, reminded him that skullduggery is not the quick path to enlightenment. Forgive me, I must hose my nose. If the seed nature is wrong, misunderstandings arise, and the Buddha's doctrine of immediacy cannot be attained. Shravaka and Pratika students may study earnestly, but they lack loving aspiration. Others may be very clever, but they lack wisdom. Stupid ones, childish ones, they suppose there is something in an empty fist. They mistake the pointing finger for the moon. They are idle dreamers, lost in form and sensation. Not supposing is the Tathagata. This is truly being Kuan Yin, the Bodhisattva who perceives freely. So, letting go of our preconceptions is the key to true mindfulness. So many times people come to me with problems, but they don't just come to me with problems. They string their problems together and hopfrog from conclusion to conclusion to conclusion to conclusion, asking me to rubber stamp their final conclusion. What really they need to do is let go of their preconceptions and re-examine the initial problem from a different point of view. When awakened, we find karmic hindrances fundamentally empty. But when not awakened, we must repay all our debts. The hungry are served the king's feast and cannot eat. The sick meet the king of doctors, why do they not recover? The practice of meditation in this greedy world, this is the power of wise vision. The lotus lives in the midst of the fire, it is never destroyed. Pradana Shurat worked the gravest precepts, but he went on to realize the unborn enlightenment. The Buddhahood he attained in that moment lives with us now in our time. In other words, to err is human. To beat yourself up is schmucktude. Don't be a schmuck, don't beat yourself up. Be honest with who you are and your shortcomings, and let go. Let go of you, whatever that is. Let go of what you've done. Let go of the consequences of what you've done. Clear space to be led from centered spontaneity. Pay it forward. The incomparable lion roar of the doctrine, how sad that people are stubbornly ignorant. Just knowing that crime blocks enlightenment, not seeing that secret of the Buddha's teachings. What secret is that? That we are already wired to notice as we enthusiastically inhale. We are already wired to release as we relaxingly exhale. Two monks are guilty of murder and carnality. The leader Upali, who had the light of a glow room, he just added to their guilt. Vimalakirti cleared their confusion at once as sunshine melts the frost and snow. The remarkable power of emancipation works wonders innumerable as the sons of the Ganges. To this we offer clothing, food, bedding, medicine. 10,000 pieces of gold are not sufficient. Though you break your body and your bones become powder, this is not enough for repayment. One vivid word surpasses millions of years of practice. The king of the Dharma deserves our highest respect. Buddhas innumerable as hands of the Ganges all prove this fact by their attainment. Now I know what the wish-fulfilling jewel is. Those who practice this will gain it accordingly. When we When we see truly there is nothing at all. There is no person, there is no Buddha. Innumerable things of the universe are just bubbles on the sea. Why sages are like flashes of lightning. However, the burning iron ring revolves around my head. With bright completeness of meditation and wisdom, I will never lose my equanimity. Even if the sun becomes cold and the moon hot, evil cannot shatter the truth. The gate of the elephant is like a mountain. How can the mantis block the road? Or to quote a line from the second Ghostbusters movie, "You are but the buzzing of flies. This is Vigo." There are troublesome circumstances. There are troublesome people. There are troublesome memories, fantasies, and thoughts. But we can slip them all through mindfulness and release. The great elephant does not loiter on the rabbit's path. Great enlightenment is not concerned with details. Let us not become masters of minutiae. I've known nuns and monks who got lost in that tiger trap. Do not belittle the sky by looking through a pipe. If you still do not understand, I will settle it for you. All right. I don't see any questions at this moment. So let's turn to page 9. Because we've done so much chanting, after we take refuge, we'll go straight to meditation. May I liberate all beings by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May I liberate all beings by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May I liberate all beings by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. So we practice mindfulness and release like a kitty cat sleeping in a sunny patch on the carpet. And like a kitty cat, eventually our mind will have the zoomies, and then we'll play with these 4 contemplations. 1 breath each, and then return to notice this relaxing. May all beings practice of kind communication, conduct, and calmness flow spontaneous and uncontrived. May everyone be free from stress, may everyone be happy. May no one be separated from the happiness. May everyone have balance from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging free. If you feel I have earned it, type something in the chat window. Give this live stream a thumbs up and share it on social media. In approximately 10 3/4 hours, we can return to consider a supreme blessing, as well as chant and meditate some more. Until then, may you and yours be happy and healthy. And if you are as geeky as me, this is the way.